Would you kindly pick up that weapon? Would you kindly follow that arrow? Would you kindly trust the calm voice in your ear? BioShock didn't steal your free will. It never had to. Because from the very beginning, you were already doing exactly what you were told. This isn't a game about mind control. It's a game about obedience and how easily it feels like a choice. Video games train us to obey long before BioShock ever asks us to. Go here, pick this up, press this button, and we don't question it because that's how games work. Following instructions means progress. Progress means reward, and rewards feel good. BioShock doesn't break this system, it leans into it. The truth is, BioShock doesn't invent obedience, it relies on it. Think about the first game you ever played. You followed arrows, you listened to tutorial pop-ups, you trusted the glowing object was important. Games reward compliance instantly. Walk where you're told, you get progress. Open what you're told, you get loot. Fight who you're told, you level up. There's no mechanic for hesitation. If you stand still for long enough, nothing happens. So we learn something very quickly. Movement equals survival. Following directions equals safety. By the time Atlas says anything, you've already been trained for hours. Atlas never shouts, he never threatens, he doesn't demand. He asks, "Would you kindly?" It's soft, reasonable, almost friendly. There's no punishment for refusal because refusal never even occurs to you. Why would it? He's helping you. He's guiding you. He sounds calm in a city that is anything but. That's not force, that's authority. What makes Atlas different isn't power, it's tone. He doesn't sound like a dictator, he sounds like a partner. And that changes everything. When authority is loud, we notice it. When it's calm, we relax. And relaxation lowers resistance. The phrase, "would you kindly," does something subtle. It implies you could refuse, but you never do. Because the illusion of choice is stronger than the absence of it. In psychology, people are far more likely to obey when instructions come from a calm, confident source, especially when the task feels justified. BioShock never frames your actions as evil. You're surviving, you're helping, you're escaping. You're not obeying, you're cooperating. And cooperation feels like choice. Here's something interesting. If you've replayed BioShock knowing the twist, you still can't disobey. The game doesn't allow you to say no. But what's fascinating is that most players don't even try. We don't test the boundaries, we assume there aren't any. That's learned behaviour, and BioShock counts on it. When the twist happens, it doesn't hurt because you were controlled. It hurts because you were surprised. Nothing changes about your behaviour, you realise you would have done all of it anyway. The phrase didn't take your agency. It revealed how little you were using it. Most games frame control as obvious. Villains command, tyrants threaten. Mind control looks dramatic. BioShock hides it in courtesy. It's not a leash, it's a suggestion. And suggestions feel like our own ideas. That's why the reveal feels personal. That's the real discomfort. BioShock doesn't accuse the player. It doesn't say you're stupid or weak. It says you're human. You followed instructions because they made sense, because they felt safe, because someone asked nicely. That's not a flaw, that's how authority works in the real world too. Most games punish disobedience immediately. BioShock rewards obedience first and questions it later. And that delay is everything, because by the time you realize what's happened, you've already proven the point. You weren't forced, you weren't trapped, you were comfortable. BioShock isn't asking, what if you had no free will? The uncomfortable part isn't that you were controlled. It's that nothing in your behaviour changes after you know. You keep fighting, you keep moving, you keep progressing. Because that's what games have always trained you to do. Maybe BioShock's quiet question isn't about the fictional city underwater. Maybe it's about how often we follow confident voices in our own lives. Not because we're forced to, but because we're used to it. Would you kindly think about that?